Draw. That was so much more violent than I meant it to be. Hey, whoopsies. How's it going? Hope everybody enjoyed that little skit there. I was trying something new. Got a little bit more of a script, kind of. And just because I want to be able to bring you guys a little bit more of an entertaining and informative video, not just my opinions, but other things as well, like that skit. Let's hope that since I have a little bit more of a script that I can keep the ability to speak freely, because I'm not that greatest at reading a script and not sounding like a drone. But have you guys, any of you, ever watched the movie Tombstone? I spent a good chunk of my childhood in New Mexico. I was born there, in fact, and I've always been surrounded by either cowboy culture or Apache culture and sopapillas. And speaking of sopapillas, have you guys ever had them? Growing up, they were my all-time favorite dessert, aside from my grandma's baklava. They're such a simple and sweet treat. For those of you who don't know, sopapillas are like fried bread. They're usually like square-sized. Depending on the restaurant, of course, we would get like these massive ones or, normal square-sized ones. And what I used to love to do, I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen those honey bear things that have the long yellow spout. Basically, I'd do a nice layer of honey inside. Like I'd tear off a corner of the sopapilla, then I'd do a nice thin layer of honey on the inside, and it is amazing. Highly recommend. Back to the movie. So I grew up in New Mexico, and it was kind of the center of the old Wild West. In fact, my mom used to work at a hotel that is kind of infamous and very haunted, called the St. James Hotel in Cimarron, New Mexico. And in fact, Doc Holliday, one of the characters that this movie is based off of, stayed there, among many, 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 many other very famous outlaws and gun ringers. And so, like, I've spent the vast majority of my life watching, being around, and experiencing cowboy-type stuff. My grandma, in fact, was a huge cowboy movie nut. Her love for cowboy movies likely stems from the fact that her and my mom both worked on my great-grandfather's ranch. And they, herded cattle, trained horses, the whole cowboy shebang, I have seen this movie like 100 times growing up. It was one of my grandma's favorite movies, and I haven't actually seen this movie since my grandma passed away, and it almost felt weird watching it. I did rewatch it, but I meant to watch this video at some point last week, and it postponing it until Saturday morning. And it's just because this movie meant so much to my grandma, and it meant so much to me because I used to watch it a bunch with her. And so watching it almost it just kind of felt weird. If any of you have ever experienced loss and there was like a ritual thing that you would do with that person, it's just weird. It feels weird. But I really wanted to cover this movie because I think it is a really good movie, and I don't think my grandma would never want me to ever watch this movie again. So I am doing a little bit of a different video than I normally do. Normally I just give my opinion with little tidbits of facts or whatever that I could find off of Googling the movie, and I'm doing a little bit more of a deeper dive. And I hope you guys enjoy that. If you guys do, I will continue doing this, but if you guys want me to go back to doing my unscripted, unfiltered opinion, then I can totally do that as well. So building on to the point of, growing in New Mexico and all of that stuff, and the fact that Doc Holliday visited where my mom worked, these people in the movie are actual real people. And the movie is very loosely based off of real events that had occurred, like the main point of the movie being the gunfight at the OK Corral and the assassination of Morgan Earp and the attempted assassination of Virgil Earp, resulting in, Wyatt's vendetta ride against the Cowboys. And it's really interesting. Cowboy culture, the Wild West. There are so many legends, so many stories that it's difficult to tell fact from fiction, reality from myth. And I think that is really fascinating. Sorry for the slight camera change. I didn't like the angle in which it was sitting. Much better now. Anyways, the fact that it's so difficult to tell the difference between legend and fact about the Wild West really, I think, adds to the characters and the characteristics of this movie, because this movie in and of itself is a character, not just the people in it, but the Tombstone town itself and the film itself really have a unique character that I think fully encompasses a vibe that is the Wild West. Speaking on characters, there's a specific actor that I truly love that plays in this movie as, if I believe, as Virgil Earp. It's Sam Elliott. For those of you who don't know, it's this guy, mustache man. He's great. For those of you who also don't know, his debut movie is actually a horror movie that came out in 1975, I believe. And it's called Frogs. That's the horror movie, Frogs. Now, all of these actors and actresses that came to this movie that portrayed actual real people, I think did a phenomenal job. And on top of that, I think the script of this movie was really, really well written. So it has some of the most interesting quotes that are even remotely imaginable. Some of my favorites are,
"There's no noble life, Wyatt. It's just life. Get on with it."
You're so drunk you can't hit nothing. In fact, you're probably seeing double.
I have 2 guns, 1 for each of you.
I can see that in your eyes.
All right, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Speaking on these quotes and the specific, very impactful scenes, it really, like I said earlier, just is a complete and utter vibe of a cowboy movie and what cowboy movies really are in the fact that they're just masterfully told stories. I don't think 85% of what happened actually happened, but I will tell you, it does make for a really good story. And in reference to that, you have a lot of people's beliefs that I've read that this is a revenge story. The last hour of the movie is just Wyatt going on a revenge story. But I think Doc Holliday said it a lot better.
If they were my brothers, I'd want revenge too.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And I truly empathize with Wyatt, and I truly empathize with his motivations to go after the people who killed his brother. As I have 2 younger brothers, so it's something that I can see myself doing if that were to ever happen to my brothers. In my personal, humble opinion, this movie is a masterpiece. Sure, the dialogue is clunky at times, and the lighting is a bit weird in some parts.
Sure you do. Say goodbye to me.
But I absolutely adore this movie. Whether it's because it reminds me of my childhood or simply because it's a really good movie, it's up for you to decide. And I highly recommend you guys going to watch this movie, as I'm going to give this movie a score of 10 out of 10. And frankly, that's about all that I have to say about this movie. It's just as good as I remember, and I can't recommend it enough. Even if you aren't into cowboy movies, the acting alone and the score alone really draw you into the story, because it is above and beyond just a cowboy movie. It is above and beyond just a revenge flick. It is a legend, and I can't really say anything else aside from that. Now, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed. And if you want more videos like this, then
I'm your huckleberry.
oh, Jesus. That hat is, I don't know if you can tell, that hat is toasty. It's real warm. So this PS section, wanted to do a little bit of a thing. Next week's video for St. Paddy's Day, it's going to be Boondock Saints. So hopefully you guys are excited for that, just as I am super excited for that. I have a couple ideas for a skit. If you guys enjoyed the skit part, I'm definitely planning on doing more. Don't worry. Oh yeah, my birthday is coming up in a few months. By a few months, I mean April, or not May, April, May. My birthday's in May, and I'm gonna do a full day live stream, not on my birthday, but somewhere around my birthday. So if you guys like those kinds of those kinds of videos where it's just a live stream of playing video games, then be sure to tune in. And last point that I have is, while researching this movie, I came across, and I was Googling cowboy jokes just to see if I couldn't get any inspirations and stuff. Came across this joke that, frankly, is truly just very dark, but it's really funny. So I'm going to tell you the joke. What does a sad cowboy and a supernatural have in common? What does a sad cowboy and a supernatural fan have in common? They both want a Winchester in their mouth. Alrighty. That terrible joke is the thing that I'm going to end the video on. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.